Hi, look at that. It's Miss Barnett. How are you, Miss Barnett?
Hello.
Let's give everybody just a couple more minutes to join.
Yeah. Give it one more minute, we'll get started. Thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Sorry.
Thank you.
All right, cool, Kelly. I think we're at that 2 minute mark.
Perfect.
Great. Well, thank you everybody for joining us with our third Chalk Talk so far in the series. So every Thursday we meet at 2 p.m. to go over questions, issues, or concerns that our customers may have. We talk about one cool topic, and this week that's going to be AI. And then we try to learn from each other in terms of tips or best practices when using the tool. So today we thought we'd talk about AI in education, promise and precaution. And this is a pretty hot topic in general. So let's get started.
Sounds good.
Before anybody panics, no, AI is not taking your job.
So what we're going to be talking about today is data, policies, and some real life classroom examples of how AI is used in the classroom and how it seems to be moving a lot faster than the policies within the classrooms.
Let's start off by talking about how it's already in classrooms, and what that means for some teachers.
So where things stand right now, by 2024, we had about 60% of teachers using AI in some form, saving up to about 6 hours a week. And that is from a national teacher survey that was done by the 74.
And that's a little crazy to think like 6 hours. That's probably a whole planning period and additional time to eat lunch. That's
Which
a
would be
little
great.
wild to believe. Yeah.
Yeah. But here is the kicker. RAND has found that while teachers are using AI tools, most districts still don't have formal policies in place because, like I said earlier, it is moving a lot faster than the rules are able to keep up.
So it's almost like when we started using cell phones, where like some schools have banned it completely, and then some schools were like, all right, you can text in the hallway, nobody really cares. There's just
Right.
some confusion or chaos right now.
Yeah, and that's still an issue in a lot of schools is where are the boundaries with technology? So today we are going to be talking about a fear that can come up, which is AI replacing teachers, education, lesson plans, etc.?
And we think UNESCO kind of put it perfectly, where they just clearly said teachers cannot be coded. You know, AI can assist it, but it can't really empathize, it can't improvise, it can't inspire people, it can't do anything that really connects with the student.
Yeah, and so we were joking earlier that AI is kind of like the overeager intern you see on TV. It can work fast, it makes confident mistakes, but occasionally forgets who's in charge.
Exactly. You know, like it's good at drafting lesson plans, but it can't really notice when a student's having a rough day or, you know, if they are having a great time in class where they're celebrating that aha moment, they can't really notice, AI can't notice any of those things.
Exactly. So let's shift to the things that are working with AI. Teachers are using AI to differentiate lessons, create rubrics, summarize articles. It's kind of like having that planning buddy that never sleeps. Um, Sometimes it'll understand sarcasm, depends how you talk with it. I know with mine it totally does, but
No, yeah. And the 74 did a survey that found teachers using AI reported lower burnout and better time management as well.
right, because the whole point of AI, at least this is how we feel here at Lumos, is AI is there to give you the content, but you're there to give it the context.
And that kind of brings us into what we want to talk about next, which is integrity and assessment. And it's something that people are really, really worried about. And they say, all right, use AI detectors and things like that. But who are we kidding? That stuff is as accurate as your Apple Watch with a sleep cycle.
Right. And studies do show that detectors can be unreliable. They'll flag Shakespeare as AI written sometimes, but maybe miss an AI bot. I actually read a wild article, which not an education, but Kim Kardashian was actually talking about how she blames ChatGPT for failing her law exams because she was using it to answer law questions. And while AI can be helpful, it's not the end all be all, and it does need to be fact checked.
But then what's the solution at this point? Like how do we get around all this?
Right. So one thing I would say is we need to talk about redesigning assignments. So, thinking about oral reflections, processing notes and drafts instead of just giving an essay. So, you need to assess the thinking, not just the product. So, Bloom's taxonomy is a great example of how you can mix these different types of skills when giving assessments. So, for those of you who are familiar with Bloom's taxonomy, right? We're creating something. This is a great time to use the AI to create our lesson. Then in the evaluating process, you as the educator are evaluating along with the students. Analyzing data, for example, here at Lumos, it would analyze your answers with our grading assistant, which we're going to talk about in a bit, would be able to analyze the answers. Then is how to apply that knowledge in real life situations within the classroom. Then you have understanding. Again, this is
And
a
all
great
of
place.
that, so like all of
Mhm.
that is more led by humans, right? Where we don't want to rely on
Right.
that artificial intelligence up to analyzing, maybe, possibly, but after that, we want to make sure it's all human intervened.
Exactly. And even throughout that, it's assisting throughout. It's not giving you the information. For example, with understanding, you can use that in our reports section, for example, and understand the data of how students did, how students are performing based on standards. But again, that's when you're going in more depth with your students on the why. Why are they not understanding? Is the question type? Is it the specific standard? How can I, as the educator, help my student understand this concept? And then, of course, the big one is remembering, making sure students are not just, teaching to the test, memorizing things for the test, but also understanding the real life implications and how to use that information in the real world.
So I think in terms of clarifying or just summarizing, no one is going to replace a teacher. That is impossible right now, just
Right.
because nobody can tell what the context is of a classroom, what's really going on, other than the person that's there, the teacher. But while we try to integrate some of these new tools into our daily lives, it's also really important for us to be aware of what kind of guardrails do we need or how do we protect ourselves, and just things like data privacy.
And that's a big one. So, one thing that's important is staying responsible with AI. It's not just even about individual safety, it's about protecting your school and your organizations.
And I think for administrators, what's really important is looking into what tools are generating output and where is that human intervention. So, getting a
Mm-hmm.
DPA, being responsible during the procurement process, all of that is a given. And we noticed that, once we came into the whole internet era, everybody was aware or is now getting aware of data privacy and those basic things like having a DPA. But being cognizant of which tools are generating output that are ideas and that could guide your students without human intervention and where's their human intervention, having that clarity is super important.
Exactly. And another important thing too, especially in a school district, is having that data protection agreement, making sure that both your schools and your vendors are being held accountable and are protected.
And teachers don't sign off on anything that's been artificially generated until you've reviewed it carefully. Even here at Lumos, even though we utilize AI and we have a grading assistant, things like that, everything requires approval from the teacher before it goes out to the student. So try to apply that principle when you're using AI personally as well.
Hmm. And I love that quote. If you wouldn't put it on a bulletin board, don't put it through AI. That's just, I feel like, good life lesson.
Yeah. Well, we do a poll every week, and since we have so many people here, we'd love to get some responses if you're listening. Who has used AI for differentiation in the classroom this school year? Anybody? All right. Well, we'll make sure to post these on social media as well, so you can share your thoughts or ask your friends to participate as well. The question was, who has used AI for differentiation in the school year? And the second question is, does your district have firm data and privacy guidelines? We know that when we're working with schools, a lot of schools across the country have really, really firm guidelines, especially when you need to fill out like a security questionnaire or a
Mhm.
HECMAT and just really understand systems. So every district varies.
Yeah, and that's something I always find very interesting is when you have the firm data and privacy guidelines, how often are they updated? Because like we said earlier, it does change so fast. It's so hard to keep up, especially with students who, I mean, I feel like my 13-year-old knows more about technology than I do, and I work in tech, but they're so quick to pick these things up. It's so hard as an educator and as an administrator to keep up with them and with what they're using AI for.
I know it feels, I'm not even 30 yet, and it still feels impossible for me to keep up with some of this stuff. Um,
Right.
but awesome. Well, let's dive into the FAQ section of today, and let's open it up to the audience. Has anybody come prepared with questions? Is there anything that we can help you with? Oh, Ms. Borum.
Me, you ready?
Oh, we're ready.
Okay. So I am a math teacher. I'm a middle fourth through eighth grade math teacher, but I currently work at an after school program.
Okay.
They have
Mhm.
Lumos at their program.
Oh, awesome.
Right. Wonderful. And working in conjunction with the district where the center is. Sorry, hold on. Sorry. So my question is, I have grades 2 through 6.
Okay.
I have been trying to give them assignments, but I'm not teaching them. I'm just tutoring them. So now that I get that Lumos is a teach it, model it, and then assign it, I'm not doing that. And I don't know where each of their teachers are to try and stay aligned where they are. So is there some sort of quick way that I can assign like the basics, not the new stuff that they're learning this year? I can do that maybe later after I'm sure they've gone over it. That's my problem I'm having.
That's actually a great question. And we have
That
something
is a
called
good
the
question.
back to school refresher. So
Okay.
in your My Lessons page, if you scroll towards the bottom, do you have it open right now?
Hold on 1 second. I think so.
Sure.
Okay, I got it. All right, now where?
So in my lessons at the bottom, if you scroll all the way, you'll see something called the back to school refresher.
Wait a minute. In my lessons.
And it's going to be all the way at the bottom.
Okay, under my lessons, I see reports and then resource usage. No, do I need to be in something else?
Oh, hold on. Let me try and share my screen. Maybe
Okay.
that'll help. Kelly, do you have it pulled up actually already?
I can pull it up. Yes, I can. Give me one
Okay.
second.
Under my lessons. Okay.
So I'm in my lessons, going all
Okay.
the way down. And then it's right here. Do you see where it says back to school refresher, assessment grade 4 to 5? Just because that's the grade I have up.
Wait. Guided. I do. Okay.
Awesome. Perfect.
So the whole point of the back to school refresher is to test the children on the previous grade level. So you could select a bunch of questions from here. Because there are multiple sections, you don't need to assign everything all at once. You could start with section 1 that has less number of questions. It's on the previous grade level. So I think it would be perfect for what you're looking for.
Thank you
Yes.
so much.
And
I
you'll
really
see
appreciate
here,
that.
of course, and you'll see here, these are, this is a Georgia one I have pulled up, but you'll see here the standards. You'll be able to look. And what I did was I just clicked on that info button here.
Okay.
You can look at the question types and the standards that are going to be covered from that previous year.
Thank you guys. I was like, there's got
Of
to be an easier
course.
way to do this. Thank you so much.
Yes.
I feel like
Of
I have my
course.
cape back. Thank you.
Great.
All right, I'm done. Thank you. Can
All
I bake
right.
y'all some bread? Thank y'all so much.
Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
No problem. Thank you. All right. Do we have any other questions? Cool. Let's give it just a minute.
It's Jim again. We definitely have a
Hey.
question, Tony, and I'm looking for my awesome teacher, Tony, Ann, to jump in here.
Yes. I see Miss
On the
Thompson.
call.
Hi there, how are you?
Hi, how are
Hi.
you?
Good, thank you. So, quick question about our refreshers. We still are looking for our second and third refreshers data to be removed from our system. And then I have a
Yes.
quick question about once our students we're trying to have them focus on their remediation for refresher 1. And I think like just the next step following that, because I know if I have students who have done the remediation, but there's like what's next? They can't find anything to do after that. Does it have to be assigned to them, or is it something that like I guess just what's the next step for them?
So, twofold. I emailed you back this morning, and I apologize. I was out for a few days for a wedding. So I had messaged Samantha Anderson. I'm not sure if you saw, I had CC'd her. It was supposed to have been taken off already, but I think there was some miscommunication because they were looking for your written permission to remove it. So I forwarded them that email again.
Okay.
And I do have support on this call.
Oh,
So if
perfect.
we could
Okay.
make sure we take, see, works out when you're on the call, right?
Yeah.
So if you could make sure we take off parts 2 and 3 as soon as possible, that would be fantastic. And on the remediation,
Mhm.
if you would like, I can show you, if you have some time tomorrow, maybe we can hop on a call and I can show you how to customize exit tickets and bell ringers. So once they finish the remediation, that would be something to work on with the standards you want students to concentrate more on until you do that first practice test.
Okay.
Great.
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay, sounds good.
Awesome.
Oh, actually, you
One
know
in the
what I
question.
could do too? I know. If you want, Miss Thompson, to make your life even easier, we actually covered how to do that in last week's Chalk Talk. So I
Okay.
could even just send you the video and you can just
Perfect.
watch that too, and
Yeah,
then
that'd
ask
be
me any
awesome.
questions
Yeah.
you have. Perfect.
Yes,
Let's
thank
do that.
you.
Of course.
Thanks so much, Kelly.
Anytime.
Could we also assign standards like you just showed the last teacher?
Oh, absolutely. Here, let me just walk you through it real quick.
Mhm.
Let me just share that screen again.
Yeah, I was gonna say, since we're here, we may as well just walk them through it now.
Might as well go through it for everybody again.
Yeah.
So if we want to have a specific standard, and again, this is based on Georgia, not the NJSLA, but let's look at text structure. So let's say my students need to work on this specific standard. I want to assign 5 questions on this standard to my students. What I'm going to do is click on this eyeball here. And this eyeball is going to show me every question available to me on this specific standard. And this will cover any state that we have. We have all 50. So here you're going to see all of my questions, and you're going to see a button here that says Add to Resource Kit. I like to think of this as my Amazon Add to Cart button, and all you do is just add to cart whatever questions you want. I can also take them away, as you can see when that minus is there. So I'm going to add 3 different questions. Now up here in the top right corner, you're going to see it says you have added 3 questions to Resource Kit. This is now my custom lesson. I'm going to review that lesson by clicking the blue button. We're going to call this our exit ticket. And now I'm going to create my custom lesson. Now it's going to take me to the page you normally see when assigning your lessons. And again, this can be done from an administrator or an educator. So if I'm administration, I of course would pick what grades, teachers, etc. But as the classroom teacher, as this is that account, all of my students are selected. If I want to choose certain students, I can do that as well by deselecting. And let's say Samuel and Ashley and Gavin are the ones who need help on this specific standard, or they finished all their remedials. And now I'm going to assign it to these 3 students who finished the remediation and need a little extra work. And then of course, I'm going to find that on the bottom of my screen, ready for students to take.
Okay.
Did that make sense? Is there anything else you wanted me to go over
It
again?
does. I just guess I'm confused that it has to be, and once they're done the remediation, things have to be assigned for them. Nothing else just appears for them to do.
Correct. Yes. Once they finish the remediation, which congratulations on them finishing all the remediation. That's
Well,
impressive.
It's not all of them. It's a handful.
A few.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you.
of course. Any other
Nope.
questions for us?
I do want to just commend all those students for completing their remediation. That's not a joke. So you're doing everything with so much fidelity. That's really, really commendable. But awesome. We had a little demonstration plan for everybody. Since today was all about AI, we thought that we'd show you guys how the Lumos grading assistant works. And you could see it
Yes.
in action.
And I don't know why I unshared my screen because I need the same one. So here is our, of course, where our lessons are assigned. So all I did was, again, go to the bottom of the screen. Now, anytime you are grading an ECR question or an open-ended question, you will see this button that says Grade Now. Now, I do have the ability to click here, or on the left-hand side, I can scroll through my blue bar where all great things are, and I'll find View Graded Questions. When I click on View Graded Questions, it's now going to show me everything that needs to be graded either by the educator or with our AI grading assistant. So this one does have the AI grading assistant turned on. And when I click to be graded, you will now see I have my student's answer and my predicted score. So what the AI grading assistant does is it gives you a predicted score of what the AI believes the answer should be, and it also gives an answer explanation. So right here you see you received a score of 1 because you clearly identified differences between the 2 sources and supported your explanation, etc. So it gives a really great answer. Now, as the educator, I can accept this answer, or I can change it to modify based on how I feel the answer should be. And then I'm going to click Approve. Now this is automatically sent to my student. So let's take a look at another one. To do that, I would just click Next. Now for this one, I have a score of 4. Okay, and again, it would have the answer and answer explanation. Perfect. So now as the teacher, I put the 4. I agree with that answer. Again, it gets sent to my student. I believe we have one Oh, we got all the good kids here. I was expecting one to be like, hi. That's what I always put when I show it. Again, I would decide, but let's say I'm reading this and I decide as the educator, I feel that I'm missing a couple things that I was looking for. I can then change it and say, I think I agree with the 3. Then I can also change this, delete if needed, and write what I want to write, and then send the feedback. So as the teacher, like we said, it's always important just to take a look, because AI is not always perfect or correct. Just take a look, decide if you feel that's the best answer, and then change it as needed. Any questions about our AI grading assistant or anything else any questions I can answer with that? All right, great.
I have a
Yeah.
quick question just with the AI assistant and just trying to be leveled, right? I mean, I guess
Mm-hmm.
in reality, if you just accept what the AI assistant always gives you, then that can become a consistent score, right? Like in that sense
Yes.
across the board. So
Yes.
maybe you don't have to, do such a review if as we're assessing other things within the program, maybe we just live with that. That's an
Oh,
approach someone
absolutely.
could use, true.
Yeah, and it is going to be consistent across the board. So
Right.
it is going to make sure that whatever you are doing, if it thinks this scores a 4, it's going to be for every classroom, for every teacher. It's going to stay consistent. So there is, of course, nothing wrong, but of course we have to let AI is not
Of
always
course.
perfect. Disclaimer, but you can absolutely just accept and go with the answer given.
Okay.
No, and I think that goes back to a lot of the conversation that we had earlier today in terms of how we can depend on AI. I don't think we're at a stage yet where the technology can be trusted to give our students grades for things like this. I mean, I know that it may not be a big deal for a practice test, but for the state standard test, we really want to make sure that there's a teacher looking at all of this and we're not putting all that faith in technology. I mean, as a tech company, I know we shouldn't be saying things like that, but I think there's a certain level of honesty that I want to maintain with everybody.
Yeah,
Exactly.
for sure. I mean, I think there's definitely a clear difference between the practice and the reps versus, a standardized test and so forth, or even, an end of,
Right.
you know, cumulative test or however you want to put it.
But to your point, we should also start considering giving you more control. If you feel as an administrator that these are scores that we want to trust, especially when we're not doing a serious practice test, you should have that option, right? Like, I don't think what we're doing now limiting that may be the right way, but thank you. I think we're going to take that into serious consideration.
Yeah, that's a great point.
Awesome. Well, today was great. I actually really enjoyed the conversation.
Oh.
Thank you so much, everybody, for joining in. We're going to make sure that you get a recording, that you can see everything that we're posting on social media, and send out those emails with all the links. If you have any questions, feel free to email us beforehand because then you can enter into a raffle for $20.
Yeah.
I mean, it's always useful to have a little Amazon gift card. And if you like to share any of your experiences and you actually want to talk about a particular topic, we'd love to feature you. You can spend the first 10 minutes just talking with us about anything that you find interesting or any implementation story that you may have. And we'd love to compensate you for your time as well. So always respond to those emails. We love to talk to you guys more. And we look forward to seeing you next week.
Yes. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We always appreciate having you here and all of your feedback.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a
Thank
good
you guys. Have a wonderful afternoon. Bye-bye.